She tweeted, "Why do men always want to change you? Love me as I am." After I asked her to stop flirting with other guys, I replied, "I do love you as you are, single," and posted my new dating profile link. Now she is blowing up my phone. I, 28 male, just ended a 3-year relationship with my ex-girlfriend Ashley, 26, in the most public way possible. And honestly, I don't regret it. We met at a mutual friend's wedding. She was charming, funny, had this infectious laugh that made everyone around her smile. I fell hard. We moved in together after a year, split rent on a nice 2-bedroom in the city. Life was good, or so I thought. The red flags started small. She'd get tons of DMs from guys, which is normal. She's attractive, social media savvy, has like 15K followers. But she'd respond to the flirty ones. Not just thanks, but full conversations. When I brought it up, she'd say I was being insecure. "They're just friends, Steven. You comment heart emojis on all their shirtless pics. So, it's just social media. Don't be controlling." I let it slide. Didn't want to be that guy. Then came the work trips. She's in marketing. Travels maybe once a month. I started noticing she'd post stories at bars, always with the same group. This one guy, Mark, appeared in almost every photo. Arm around her leaning into him. When I asked about it, she got defensive. "He's literally married. Steven, God, you're so paranoid." Spoiler. Mark was going through a divorce. Found that out later. The breaking point came 2 weeks ago. She went to Miami for a conference, posted bikini pics all weekend. Fine, whatever. But then I saw a story from her coworker's account. Ashley and Mark on a yacht, her sitting on his lap, both looking drunk, his hand clearly on her ass. I screenshot it before it disappeared. When she got back, I confronted her, showed her the photo. She went nuclear. "That's taken out of context. We were just having fun. Why are you stalking my friend's stories? This is toxic behavior, Steven. You need therapy." Classic Darvo. Deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. I stayed calm. "I just want you to stop flirting with other guys. That's a pretty basic relationship boundary." She stormed out. 20 minutes later, I see her tweet. "Why do men always want to change you? If you can't love me as I am, then you don't deserve me at my best. Know your worth, toxic masculinity." It got 2.3K likes in an hour. Her followers were eating it up. Comments about how men are insecure, controlling, threatened by confident women. She was painting me as some possessive boyfriend who couldn't handle her having male friends. I sat there in our apartment looking at our photos on the wall and decided I was done. See, what Ashley didn't know was that I'd been documenting everything for months. Not because I planned some revenge. I just started keeping receipts when the gaslighting began. Screenshots of her flirty DMs, timestamps of when she said she'd be home versus when she actually showed up, photos she deleted but I'd already saved. I spent that night packing her stuff. Carefully. All her clothes, makeup, that expensive coffee machine she loved. Everything in boxes, labeled, ready to go. Then I did something petty but satisfying. I replied to her tweet. "I do love you as you are, single. That's why I'm setting you free to be yourself." And attached a link to my newly created dating profile. The internet went insane. Within minutes, her friends were flooding my DMs. Her phone started blowing up. I could hear it from the bedroom where she was rage scrolling. She came storming out. "What the heck, Steven? Delete that right now." "Why? I'm just being myself. Isn't that what you want?" "This is different. You're humiliating me." Like how you humiliated me by calling me toxic to thousands of strangers. She tried to grab my phone. I stepped back. "Ashley, we're done. Your stuff is packed. You can crash at Mark's." "I told you, Mark is just going through a divorce." "Yeah, his wife reached out to me last week. Apparently, you're not the first coworker he's gotten handsy with on a company trip." Her face went white. "You talked to his wife?" "She DM'd me after seeing the yacht photos. Turns out she follows your coworker too. Small world." Ashley's phone was going nuclear, notifications nonstop. See my dating profile link? It redirected to an I Am Girl album. Nothing malicious, just screenshots. Her tweet history subtweeting me. The photos of her and Mark she'd posted and deleted. Her flirty DMs with guys where she never mentioned a boyfriend, including some with her personal trainer. All public information she'd posted herself. I just compiled it. "You're completely insane." She was shaking. "This is harassment. I'll sue you." "For what? Sharing your own posts?" She called her best friend Betty, put her on speaker. Big mistake. Betty, Steven is being a psycho. He's trying to ruin my reputation. Ashley, everyone can see those screenshots. Is that really you flirting with your trainer while you were with Steven? That's not the point. Girl, you literally tweeted last month about how Steven was too boring in bed. That's so messed up. Ashley hung up, looked at me with pure hatred. I want you out. This is my apartment too. Actually, check the lease. I'm the only one on it. We never added you when you moved in, so legally you're a subtenant. Here's your 30-day notice. I handed her the letter I'd prepared. But since you'll probably want to leave sooner, I'm happy to let you go immediately. She threw a glass at the wall. It shattered. Classic Ashley. When logic failed, anger followed. You planned this. No, Ashley, I planned to marry you. This is just me finally standing up for myself. She left that night, took an Uber to her sister's place, left half her stuff behind. Update 1. It's been a week since the tweet incident. Buckle up, because Ashley went full scorched earth. First, she tried to flip the narrative. Posted a long Instagram story about narcissistic abuse and how I'd been monitoring her social media and isolating her from friends. She claimed I was the one who forced her to delete photos, that I controlled what she wore, that I'd threatened to hurt myself if she left. All lies. But her followers ate it up. The DMs I got were insane. Vicious messages. People calling me at work. She doxed my LinkedIn. Someone ordered 50 pizzas to my apartment. My Instagram got mass reported and temporarily banned. But here's where Ashley got careless. She included details in her story that only someone who'd been reading my private texts would know. I'd been talking to my therapist about feeling gaslit and had mentioned specific incidents in our text exchanges. Ashley somehow quoted these, word for word, in her abuse survivor narrative. How? She'd been reading my texts through our shared iPad. I'd forgotten to log out of iMessage. While it was a legal gray area, it proved she was actively spying on me to build her false story. So I did what any reasonable person would do. I filed a police report for harassment and documented everything. The pizza incident, the awful DMs, screenshots of her posts, and the doxing. The detective was surprisingly helpful. This is a clear pattern of cyberstalking and harassment, she said. Has she tried to contact you directly? Oh, had she? 127 missed calls, 89 texts, ranging from "please baby, let's talk" to "I'll freaking destroy you" to "I miss you so much" to "you'll regret this." I showed the detective everything. With this volume of contact and the online campaign, you have grounds for a protective order, she advised. Let's get the paperwork started. It took a few days, but a judge granted a temporary restraining order. But then came the plot twist. Remember Mark? Ashley's just a friend, coworker? His soon-to-be ex-wife, Sandra, reached out again. She had more tea than Lipton. Hey Steven, saw what's happening online. Thought you should know. Mark and Ashley have been having an affair for months. I have proof. Call me if you want it. I called. Sandra had everything. Hotel receipts, Uber records showing Ashley going to Mark's apartment when she told me she was at her sister's. Even a particularly damning video from a security camera in Mark's building lobby, Ashley and him making out in the elevator. I hired a PI during my divorce proceedings, Sandra explained. Found out about 3 other women. Ashley's just the latest. I'm sorry you got caught up in this. I thanked her, then made a decision. I wasn't going to post the evidence online, but I was going to protect myself. I went to Ashley's company's HR. Now before you judge me, I didn't want to get her fired. But she was using company resources to conduct an affair, and now she was harassing me to the point where police were involved. HR needed to know. The meeting was awkward. I showed them the harassment, the police report, and mentioned the affair with Mark without showing Sandra's evidence. That felt too far. They took it very seriously. Said they'd launch a formal investigation. A few days later, Ashley showed up at my apartment. The restraining order had just been served to her that afternoon. It was 11 p.m. She was drunk, banging on the door. Steven, open up, I know you're in there. I called 911. Stayed inside. Recorded everything on my phone. You went to my work? You trying to get me fired after everything I did for you? Ashley, I've called the police. You need to leave. You're violating a court order. Forget you. You ruined my life. Everyone thinks I'm a cheater. You are a cheater. She went quiet. Then, how did you? Sandra says hi. She lost it, started kicking the door, screaming obscenities. The neighbors came out. Dorothy from 4B threatened to call the cops herself. Already called them, I said through the door. Ashley tried to run when she heard the sirens. Didn't get far in her heels. The cops took her in for drunk and disorderly conduct and for violating the brand new restraining order. I thought that would be the end. I was wrong. Update 2. Ashley made bail the next morning. Her sister posted it. And apparently, while sitting in that cell, Ashley had plotted her revenge. First, she went nuclear on social media. But smarter this time. She hired a reputation management firm. They crafted this whole narrative about how she was a victim of digital stalking and intimate partner surveillance. Never mind that I hadn't posted anything intimate, just her own public posts. The firm started pushing articles on Medium, getting her interviews on small podcasts about surviving digital abuse. The campaign was effective. Justice for Ashley started trending in our city. Local influencers picked it up. She painted herself as a champion for women's digital privacy. But the real blow came from an unexpected place. My landlord called. "Stephen, I've been getting complaints. The building management is concerned about the police activity. I can't have this drama. I'm not going to be renewing your lease when it's up in a few months." I had 60 days to find a new place. In this market. Great. Then work got weird. My boss pulled me aside. "Hey, we've been getting some concerning calls about you." Ashley had been calling my company. Not to explicitly get me fired, she was too smart for that, but concerned calls about my mental state and whether I was stable enough to be working with clients. She posed as a worried ex. "I know what's happening," my boss said, "but corporate is nervous. Take a week off, paid, let this blow over." I was spiraling. She was winning. The narrative was set. She was the victim. I was the abusive ex. Even some of my friends were questioning me. "Did you really need to post her tweets, man? Seems harsh." I felt insane. Was I the bad guy here? Then Sandra called again. It had been a couple of weeks. "Stephen, the investigation at their company is done. Mark's been fired." "What? The HR investigation you prompted?" "They found more than just their affair. Mark was promising promotions to women who slept with him. Full-on quid pro quo. 3 women came forward after you reported it." Holy smokes. There's more. Ashley's in deep trouble. She wasn't just having an affair, she was helping Mark, booking the hotels on company cards, creating fake expense reports to cover their tracks. She was an active participant. I sat down. This was bigger than I'd thought. The company's pressing charges. Embezzlement, fraud. If you have any documentation, the investigators want to see it. I sent Sandra's evidence to the investigators. All of it. The hotel receipts, the elevator video. Not out of revenge anymore, but because those other women deserve justice. A week later, Ashley was fired. She found out while live tweeting about surviving abuse. The irony was delicious, but she didn't know about the criminal investigation yet. She thought it was just about the affair. Her response? She doubled down. New narrative. She was fired for being a whistleblower. She'd been trying to report Mark's behavior, lie, and the company retaliated. Bigger lie. Then she and her reputation firm made their biggest mistake. They created fake texts, photoshopped conversations where I allegedly threatened her, threatened to release nudes that didn't exist, to ruin her career. She posted them on Twitter with "Believe Women." But her pricey reputation firm messed up. The fonts were slightly off. The timestamps were impossible. I was apparently sending threats while in a client meeting with 20 witnesses. The internet's amateur detectives tore them apart in hours. The backlash was swift. Justice for Ashley became #Ashley lied. The podcast deleted her episodes, the Medium articles were taken down, but the real karma came from the police. "Mr. Johnson, we need you to come in. The district attorney is adding a felony charge of filing a false police report and fabricating evidence to Ashley Mitchell's case. We need your formal statement." Turns out, submitting fake evidence to law enforcement? That's a felony. Update 3. It's been 2 months since Ashley's second arrest. I wish I could say it ended cleanly, but real life isn't that neat. Ashley made bail again, but it was much harder this time. The judge set a high bond, and her parents had to put their house up as collateral. The criminal case is moving slowly. Fraud cases always do. She's looking at serious time if convicted on all charges. The company she worked for is suing her civilly for $150,000 in fraudulent expenses. Mark, in a bid for a lighter sentence, became a cooperating witness, claiming Ashley was a willing accomplice who helped manage the financial deception. His wife Sandra is taking him for everything in the divorce. But here's the thing about viral drama. The internet moves on fast. New scandals replaced ours. The hashtags died. Most people forgot, except the people who mattered. I lost my apartment anyway. The landlord didn't want the headache. I found a smaller place across town. It's actually nicer, quieter neighborhood, better light, silver lining. Work welcomed me back. My boss joked I earned hazard pay. Some friends stuck by me. Others didn't. I learned who really had my back. My family was furious I hadn't told them sooner. You were going through all that alone? Mom was upset. What were you thinking? Ashley tried reaching out one more time, through her lawyer. A settlement offer arrived, a mutual non-disparagement agreement. She'd drop any potential civil claims if I would agree to tell the prosecutor I didn't want her prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I had my lawyer send back a one-word reply, no. Not out of revenge, but because actions have consequences. Last week, I ran into Ashley's sister at a coffee shop. Awkward doesn't begin to cover it. She's staying with our parents, she said quietly. Therapy twice a week, lost everything, job, apartment, reputation. Most of her friends won't talk to her. I didn't know what to say. I'm not asking for sympathy, she continued. She did this to herself. But Stephen, she's sick, really sick. The therapist thinks it's narcissistic personality disorder, maybe borderline. The lying, the manipulation, the inability to accept fault, it's pathological. I hope she gets help, I said, and meant it. She still thinks you ruined her life. Can't accept she did it herself. Probably never will. We parted ways. Haven't seen either of them since. So here I am, a few months later. Smaller apartment, same job, fewer but better friends. In therapy myself, turns out being gaslit for years does damage. Who knew? Am I happy? Not yet. But I'm free. No more walking on eggshells. No more being told I'm crazy for expecting basic respect. No more public humiliation disguised as just being myself. Ashley's trial starts in a few months. I'll testify. Tell the truth. What happens after that is up to the jury. Sometimes I check her social media. She's private now. 500 followers instead of 15K. Posts motivational quotes about surviving hardship, still painting herself as the victim. But I don't care anymore. That's growth, right? To anyone dealing with a similar situation, document everything. Trust your gut. Don't let anyone make you feel crazy for having boundaries. And when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. I didn't. Took me 3 years and a very public breakdown to see the truth. But hey, at least the sex was good. That's a joke. It was mediocre at best. She really did tweet about that though. That one stung. Anyway, that's my story. Not the clean revenge tale everyone wants. No perfect comeuppance. Just messy, complicated, human drama with no real winners. But I'm okay with that. Finally.